I decided to try to have an alternate chat in some of the locations that are there with it. I'm a member of the EdTech Island group, and so that was one of the locations that I decided to use to start it. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. One of the things that I realized is that, well, not many students are familiar with Second Life, so I needed to make a tutorial for students to be able to just get into Second Life and enter the virtual 3D world. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. But I developed that, and I put that in the doc sharing so the students that were interested in doing the alternative chat, it was a totally volunteer basis, they could download it and then hopefully get into it. The goal of the study was to improve the Second Life tutorial. I knew that I'm not a perfect person. I knew there would be some things that needed to be better in it to help the students get in there, and I would learn from this. So I decided to do an action research study and a series of studies as I go along in this whole project with it. And I wanted to see if it could help me facilitate chats better in the future. I basically had 3 general research questions as I started. I wanted to try to gather quantitative and qualitative data on would there be a higher level of participation in the chats, would they be more satisfied with the chats, and would they learn more in the chats. Other couple questions I wanted to answer are what are the best practices of holding chats in Second Life, and the third one are what are some things to avoid. We met the chat goals, they were interested, they participated. We increased their computer skills, their computer knowledge, and we really increased their knowledge of Web 2.0 educational experiences and shared some of the potentials of some of the things that you could do in this environment. So overall, myself as an instructor, I was satisfied with the experiment. The first week or two I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't have, I was hoping we'd have somewhere around 5 or 6 students, maybe more there, so I was disappointed with just a couple. But as the weeks went by, I found out we actually had more students that tried to get in, that couldn't get in, so that told me that was more of a problem where I needed a better tutorial on this, and it was going to be much more difficult. As a computer person, it was easy for me to get into Second Life and enter it, but for many of my students, it just doesn't work. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Prensky's digital native, digital immigrant, and his theory that, well, most everybody that grew up as a digital native is a wonder with a computer. And you teach online, I'm sure you know that, well, that's just not true with it at all. There's some people that are just have extreme difficulties. So I realized the tutorial needed to really be revised and be really in just a step-by-step kind of way to do it with it. I was happy to handle most of the technical and environmental challenges that came the way. Didn't run into anything that really crashed and put me in a situation where, well, we couldn't continue to do this. The students participated. They had a commitment that really surprised me. We had that student showed up in the 4th week, 2 students that showed up that couldn't get in the previous weeks. So they kind of, well, they didn't get in, they came back and tried it again, and a couple of them even tried it again with it. They persevered, they used teamwork, and then as we used this teamwork on the technical challenges, it really created a strong cohesion between the students and between me with it. So it really facilitated adult learning. The tech problems, the problem solving, the teamwork, it increased the student-to-student interaction in Class Live Pro. I'm really doing everything I can, asking questions to get students to contribute. A lot of the students are just typing into text, and it's kind of very difficult, I feel, to have the quality interaction through the Class Live chat process as we had in the Second Life group.